Have you ever walked into a room where everyone was laughing and you just started smiling even though you had no idea what was funny? Or maybe you were in a great mood, then spent an hour with someone who just kept complaining and suddenly you felt drained and irritable? That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't weakness. That was emotional contagion, and it's happening to you every single day whether you realize it or not. Here's the quick truth. Emotional contagion is the scientifically proven process where you catch the emotions of the people around you like a cold, but for feelings. And most of the time, you don't even know it's happening. Your brain is literally scanning the people around you, syncing up to their emotional state, and adjusting your own mood to match. It's automatic. It's powerful. And once you understand it, you can start using it to your advantage. What is emotional contagion? So what exactly is going on inside your brain when this happens? Emotional contagion is the tendency to unconsciously absorb and mirror the emotions of the people around you. The term was coined by psychologists Elaine Hatfield, John Cacioppo, and Richard Rapson back in 1993, and their research showed that humans are quite literally wired to sync up emotionally with others. Here's an easy way to picture it. You know how yawning is contagious? You see someone yawn, and boom, you're yawning too. Emotions work almost the same way. When someone near you is anxious, your body starts picking up on their cues, their facial expressions, their tone of voice, the tension in their posture, and before your conscious brain even catches up, you're already starting to feel a little anxious too. The science behind it? Mirror neurons. These are special brain cells that literally mirror what they observe in other people. When you watch someone smile, your mirror neurons fire as if you are the one smiling. When you see someone in pain, those same neurons activate your own sense of discomfort. It's empathy not as a personality trait, but as a built-in biological feature. Pretty mind-blowing. And hey, if you're new here, welcome. This is exactly the kind of thing we dig into every week. Stick around. 3 categories of emotional contagion. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because emotional contagion isn't just one thing. There are 3 main types, and each one shows up in your life in a completely different way. Type 1, primitive emotional contagion. This is the most basic, automatic form. It's happening below the surface, no awareness, no intention on your part. This is what happens when you walk into a tense family dinner and immediately feel the tension in the air even though nobody said a word yet. Or when you're around someone who's naturally calm and grounded and you just relax. Your nervous system is reading their cues, their breathing, their posture, the tiny micro-expressions flickering across their face, and it syncs you up automatically. Real-life example, have you ever gotten off a phone call with someone who was panicking and found that you were suddenly flustered too? That's type 1 doing exactly what it was built to do. Type 2, conscious emotional contagion. This type is intentional. This is when someone deliberately tries to shift the emotional state of the people around them, and it can go both ways. On the positive side, think of a great coach, a teacher, a speaker who walks into a room and chooses to bring warmth, energy, and calm. They're not just feeling it accidentally. They're transmitting it on purpose, and everyone in the room picks it up. On the flip side, this is also the mechanism behind manipulation. Someone who uses guilt, constant negativity, or dramatic emotional outbursts to control the emotional climate around them. That's conscious contagion being weaponized. The key difference between type 1 and type 2 is awareness. One happens to you. The other is driven by choice. Type 3, mass emotional contagion. This is the big one. The one that shapes entire cultures. Mass emotional contagion is when emotions spread through large groups, crowds, communities, whole nations, often through shared experiences or media. Think about collective grief after a national tragedy. Or the electric shared joy at a championship parade. Or how watching a horror movie in a packed theater feels so much scarier than watching it alone at home. The crowd amplifies the feeling. Always. But here's the part I want you to sit with for a second. Here's the part that should make you a little uncomfortable. In 2018, researchers Vosoughi, Roy, and Aral at MIT published a landmark study in the journal Science. They tracked about 126,000 news stories shared by roughly 3 million people on Twitter over 12 years. What they found stopped them cold. False news stories that were factually wrong spread significantly farther, faster, and to more people than true news. True stories rarely reach more than 1,000 people. The most viral false stories routinely hit tens of thousands. And the reason? It wasn't bots. They checked. When they removed every bot from the data, the pattern held exactly the same. It was us. Human beings were doing it. Why? Because false stories tended to be more emotionally novel. They triggered surprise, they triggered disgust, they triggered a kind of "wait, did you see this?" reaction that made people want to pass it on. So think about what that means. Every time you open your feed, you're not just scrolling through information. You are stepping into the world's largest emotional contagion experiment, one that runs on the fuel of whatever makes your nervous system spike hardest. That unsettled feeling after 20 minutes of doom scrolling? That's not you being weak. That's mass emotional contagion working exactly as designed. Why it matters and what you can actually do. Okay. So now you know what it is, you know the 3 types, and you've seen the scale of it. But here's the part I actually care about for you. Your emotional environment isn't just influencing your mood. It's shaping your baseline. Whoever you spend the most hours around, your partner, your coworkers, your closest friends, their emotional patterns are being absorbed into yours. Not occasionally. Consistently. Every single day. Chronic anxiety around a chronically anxious person doesn't stay external. Eventually, it starts to feel like yours. And the same is true in the other direction. Spend real time around people who handle stress with steadiness, who find things to laugh about, who don't catastrophize every setback, and over weeks and months, you start to move like that too. Not because you forced it. Because contagion goes both ways. Once you know this, you can make conscious choices. You can learn to pause when your mood shifts and ask whether that feeling actually started with you. You can get intentional about the emotional energy you bring into every room because people catch that from you too. You can lean into positive emotional syncing to genuinely deepen your relationships. And you can set real limits on the environments and the feeds that have been running a slow, quiet drain on your nervous system. You are not at the mercy of everyone else's emotional weather. Not anymore. Because now you can see it. And seeing it is everything. You are not weak because other people's emotions affect you. That's not a flaw. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do: connect, sense, sync. The next time you feel your mood shift out of nowhere, just pause. And ask yourself one question. Is this emotion actually mine, or did I just catch it from someone else? If this video helped you see something new, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this. And if you want to keep going deeper into the psychology of how people actually work, subscribe and tap the bell. We drop new videos every week on exactly this kind of thing. One question for the comments: have you ever caught someone else's emotion without realizing it until later? Drop your story below, I read every single one. Share this with someone who needs a little more awareness and a little more peace. I'll see you in the next one.